Almost every seller asks me the same question. Should I sell now or should I wait? And the truth is, the right answer depends on your situation, not headlines. Today, I'm going to help you decide whether selling now makes sense for you, specifically here in Weber County. I'm Cassie with Ridgeline Realty. I'm your neighborhood realtor, and this is Sellers Academy Lesson 1. This is to help you understand the selling process. So let's start with what's actually happening in Weber County in the market right now. Currently, there are 418 active single-family homes on the market, and the median list price is $575,000. Homes are averaging about 39 days on the market. That tells us that the inventory is available, but homes are not flying off the shelf unless they're priced correctly and presented well. On the buyer side, 649 homes have sold in the last 90 days, with a median sold price of $463,000 with about 45 days on the market. That gap between list price and sold price tells us something important. Buyers are being selective. So negotiation is very much a part of today's market. So one of the most important stats for sellers is expired listings. 122 homes have expired in the last 90 days, sitting on the market for 128 days. So that reminds us that overpricing is a weak strategy. The bottom line is this: Weber County is a strategy-driven market. Buyers have options. Sellers who succeed are the ones who price correctly and have a clear plan from day one. Now, let's talk about one of the most common assumptions I hear from homeowners every winter. We'll just wait until spring. It sounds smart, logical, safe, but in today's market, waiting can quietly cost you real money. Real money, leverage, and momentum. And many sellers don't realize that until it's too late. So here's what most homeowners don't see coming. Winter buyers aren't casual. They're serious. People house hunting in December and January, they usually aren't just browsing. They're moving because a lot of different reasons. Maybe they lost a job, or maybe their job changed, maybe their family grew or shrank, maybe a life event forced a decision, maybe a lease is expiring. These buyers are motivated, they're qualified, and they're ready to act. In the spring, you tend to get a flood of lookers. In winter, you get decision makers, and serious buyers create leverage. Another factor sellers underestimate is competition. In the spring, your listing competes with every neighbor planning a move, every investor testing the waters, and every seller who thinks we might as well try. So in the winter, your home competes with far less inventory. Fewer listings often mean more visibility, more buyer urgency, less price compression, cleaner negotiations, and fewer will think about it offers. Less competition does not mean lower value. In many cases, it actually means stronger positioning. So now let's talk about a pricing trap many sellers fall into. The assumption is if I wait until spring, I'll get more money. Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. And sometimes the opposite happens. Spring brings more listings, more comparisons, more aggressive pricing, more buyer patience, and then often more leverage for buyers and not sellers. So in a competitive spring market, overpricing gets punished quickly and homes sit. Price reductions stack, momentum fades. Buyers start wondering what's wrong. Winter pricing is often sharper, cleaner, more believable, which is exactly what strong buyers respond to. And another thing to remember is that time is not neutral. Waiting always has a cost. Even when values rise, waiting can mean additional mortgage payments, taxes, insurance, and ongoing maintenance on aging systems, rising replacement cost, and missed opportunities on your next purchase. Real estate decisions, they don't live in a vacuum. Selling later doesn't affect your sell. It affects what you can buy next, when you can buy it, and how much flexibility you'll have. Here's the truth no one really likes to say out loud. There's no perfect season to move. There is the season your life is in, the season your market is in, and the season your finances are in. And those three don't always line up with blooming flowers. The smartest sellers we're seeing right now aren't guessing. They're getting real pricing strategies early, understanding their true leverage, running scenarios, positioning themselves ahead of the spring rush, and protecting their next move instead of reacting to it. Waiting feels safe, action feels risky, but in real estate, inaction is still a decision and it almost always has a price tag attached. Now, let's talk about when selling now can actually make sense. Selling now may be a smart move if you need to relocate quickly due to a major life change, such as a job relocation, an inherited property you want to liquidate, or a personal transition like a divorce. In these situations, clarity and speed often matter more than perfectly timing the market. Selling now can also make sense if you have significant equity and want to leverage it. Many homeowners in Utah have built substantial equity over the last few years. And if that equity helps you buy your next home, invest, or fund a major life goal, selling now can be a strategic financial decision. And if your home is in excellent move-in ready condition, you're often in a strong position. Well-maintained, well-priced homes are selling faster and closer to asking price, even in a more balanced market. On the other hand, waiting might make more sense if you've recently refinanced. In that case, selling too soon could mean losing money once you factor in closing costs and fees. Waiting can also be wise if your home is in poor condition and needs significant repairs. Homes show best when they're market ready, and sometimes taking time to address key issues leads to a stronger outcome. Markets don't move in absolutes, they move in seasons and strategies. And timing the market perfectly matters far less than having the right plan. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about pricing and why pricing right from day one is the single biggest factor in how much money you walk away with. If any questions come up for you, write them down. You'll want them for later.